What's going on, guys? If you can hear Heather in the background, she's chanting that she loves pizza because she just ordered a pizza. Oh, yeah. I started recording, and all of Facebook and Instagram is enjoying your I love pizza chant. There's my joke for the day. Heather chanting I love pizza. Oh, amazing. Thank you for that. So I wanted to go live this evening. I didn't do the What If Wednesday. Being Christmas week, I spent time with the wifey and with family. So I took time away from social media for the week to get away from it. But given the events of the day and one post or a couple posts I put up, I wanted to kind of hit on them a little bit. And talk about a couple different things, my view of them, and what I think everybody should be thinking about as you kind of look at what's going on at that church in Texas. So if you didn't see my post, there was a shooting in Texas that happened at a church. A couple parishioners died. The individual opened fire and got a couple shots off. I've seen several stories. One said one shot off. One said a few shots off. A couple stories said there's only one parishioner or congregation member killed, and another said there were two killed. But really the story revolves around, to me, the individual that was armed, the good guy, if you will. One of the stories mentioned he was a off-duty or retired police officer, was at the church, part of the congregation, was part of the security team for the church, and had a firearm on him. And a prevailing logic that I love is a good guy with a gun is always going to beat a bad guy with a gun. And a lot of people don't like that. It's abrasive and offensive to some. But as gun laws are such a hot topic right now, you take away guns from the good guys, the bad guys are still going to have guns. There are already gun restriction laws throughout the world, and the bad guy still ends up with a gun. So enforcing the good guys to not have a weapon to stop situations like this is just going to make the situation worse. That's my personal opinion, and I don't want to get super political about it. Just in the decade or more I've been involved in law enforcement and military, if you don't have good guys that can stop the bad guys, what's going to happen? The bad guy's just going to run prevalent. And one of the big things I wanted to hit on was the reaction of the folks in the church. You can go back and look at the picture and the article that I posted about it. The reaction of 99% of people were to cower, hide behind the pews, take cover. Essentially, the fight or flight kicked in for everybody, and most of them decided to flight. And there was a guy on Instagram that thought it was a little bit harsh for me to call them or say that they were cowering. I didn't particularly call anybody a coward because I think it takes a very particular mindset to step up and take action in that type of situation. And I don't think anybody's a coward for not taking action. I just wanted to hit on the point that they were cowering. I don't know a better way to take, or a better word if there's a better adjective for it. But they were hiding, they were taking cover, ducking behind the pews. They weren't taking action. At the end of the day, that's what it boils down to, is they weren't taking action. And there's a phenomenal book that I want to highly recommend everybody read. It's called The Unbeatable Mind by Dave Grossman. I call it The Unbeatable Mind by Dave Grossman. That is incorrect. I'm sorry. There is a book that is The Unbeatable Mind, and the author totally leaves me right now. I don't think that's Dave Grossman. But there's another guy, Dave Grossman, that is a retired colonel that talks about the sheepdog, and the wolf. And that's really what I want to harp on. It really bugs me that I didn't, and my computer's dead. It bugs me that I can't remember Mark Devine, I'm sorry. He's the one that wrote The Unbeatable Mind. He has the Unbeatable Mind podcast. He is a huge pusher of this logic I want to discuss with you. But the first place I heard it was Dave Grossman. That's really who I want to talk about and highlight during this. I heard him speak here in Atlanta. It was actually a phenomenal speech. It was back in my law enforcement days. But I think it really nails down exactly the mindset people have. A lot of people talk about fight or flight, and everybody knows what fight or flight is. But a lot of people don't know what being the sheepdog is. They don't know what being a sheep is, and they don't know what being a wolf is. And it's an interesting way he breaks it all down. And try to look at this objectively. Some people might be offended by me calling you a sheep. But again, it's a different mindset. So if you're offended, then look at it objectively. If you're not offended, then you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. But the sheep are the 99% that are cowering in that photo. You know, the sheep are the ones that follow the shepherd. They do what they're told. They don't think outside the box. They don't take action. They're just scared individuals that don't have the mindset to take action. They're the fight or flight mindset that take flight. And that's just the majority of people. You know, I don't think it's a conscious decision by most people. I think it's just a mindset by most that they're not thinking about fight or flight, or they're not thinking about sheepdog or sheep. They're thinking, oh shit, you know, for lack of a better term, you know, they're not thinking about what to do, and they're not planning to take action in a situation like this. They don't have a game plan going into a soft target like a church or a place of worship where they know what they're going to do if something breaks out. There's the sheep. That's the majority of people. There's also the wolf. The wolf is the one that picks off the sheep. He's the one that attacks the helpless individual. The wolves are the ones that are the active assailants, the active shooters that go through and commit acts like this. You know, you look at it from every church shooting that's happened. There's a second one in the last 2 years in Texas. You look at the Parkland shooting with the school. You look at the Vegas shooting from the hotel. Those are all wolves that are picking off the sheep. You know, the wolf doesn't go for the shepherd. The wolf doesn't go for the sheepdog that's corralling the sheep. The wolf goes for the injured, the infirm, the individuals that aren't ready to protect themselves. That's who the wolf goes after, because they're easy targets. A church is an easy target. A movie theater is an easy target. You know, that's what I call soft targets. You'll see me talk about soft and hard targets. That's a soft target. That's an easy target where resistance is not likely to be met. Then the third is the sheepdog. The sheepdog are most of your police officers, most of your military individuals that have the mindset that they're going to do whatever it takes to keep the populace, the majority, safe. They're the ones that go out of their way to carry a firearm into a church and be mentally prepared to take action with it. They're the ones that are the first ones to stand up, say, this is wrong, this is not what we're going to do because it's not right, it's not ethical. You know, you're torturing or punishing this populace of people. You know, you can look at a huge, throughout history, there are a ton of different people that you can directly point to that are sheepdogs. And I think the front line is going to be your law enforcement and your police, and your military. You know, they're the ones that seek out the wolf. They're the ones that, at risk of their own demise or their own harm, they seek out the wolf. I think that's a huge mindset shift for a lot of people. You know, everywhere I go, I'm going to have some sort of firearm on me, or weapon at least, but almost always a firearm. Heather is the same way. You know, we're always ready to do what's needed, but hope it's not needed. I'd rather have a gun and never need it than not have a gun and need it. And that's a lesson that a lot of people can't grasp. You know, yes, I'm very much more trained than the normal individual, and I would say I'm a lot more competent than the 99 percentile. But that doesn't mean you can't take the steps necessary to get that competence. It doesn't mean you can't take those steps necessary to become a sheepdog, and you don't have to be in the role of a police officer. This guy that stopped the shooting today, there's no telling how many lives he saved today. You know, the people are always going to die in this type of situation, and it's unfortunate, but you're never going to stop that first death from happening. What he did is he saved the 2 dozen after that. He's the one that saved however many people. I mean, you just can't count. If nobody stepped up and stopped that guy, if nobody was willing to take that shot and take out that threat, then how many more people would have died? On a best day, police officers might have taken them 10 minutes to get there, because realistically, who's going to notify them? You got people that are cowering under pews that aren't going to call the cops. They're too scared, frozen, and they're not going to take action. The best bet would have been the online feed that the church they had an online feed showing the sermon, The best bet is somebody watching that online feed calls the cops and say, hey, there's a bad thing going down at this church. But how delayed is that? How long is that going to take for that officer, that first cop, to show up and be able to help? The stats out there, like 85% of active shooter, active assailant situations end at the first sign of resistance. This guy, thankfully, was a good enough shot, practiced, and had the right mindset to be that front line of resistance and stop that threat. He didn't kill him instantly. The shooter ended up bleeding out over the course of time, so he obviously wasn't there to kill the guy, which a lot of pundits are going to look at and be like, oh, he just wanted to kill somebody. Or, he was shooting to kill. And that's a lot of what I heard at the police department. Why don't cops just shoot him in the knee? Why don't cops just shoot the gun out of their hand? I'm a good shot, but I don't know if I'm that good of a shot. To shoot another gun that somebody's actively waving around or moving. That's not how real life works. It's not a movie. You have to be willing to shoot center mass and stop the threat. And this individual was willing to do that. And I applaud him for taking those actions. Again, he saved countless lives today. And you have to have that mindset. You need to open your mindset. I'm not telling you to carry a gun, especially if you're not trained. I'm not telling you you're the one that has to bum rush the pilot that hijacked a plane going towards the White House. I'm not saying you have to be that person, but you have to be able to objectively look at it and open your mind to realize either you're a sheepdog or you're a sheep. It's plain and simple. Most people aren't going to be a wolf. They're not going to be the ones picking off the weak or the easy targets. But if you're not a sheepdog, then you're a sheep. Plain and simple. And I'm hoping you take this objectively. Again, please don't take this offensively, because I've spent a decade making sure I'm the sheepdog. Really, 2 decades. Every fight I got into in middle school and high school was with a bully. I never got into a fight with anybody that wasn't picking on somebody else. My entire life has been spent being the bully of bullies. That's why I joined the police department. I don't like people picking on other people. So I joined the military. I don't like other countries picking on our country. 9/11 was a huge aspect of that. And the people that stepped up that day on 9/11, that one hijacked plane that crashed in the middle of nowhere and didn't make it to its target, those people are heralded as heroes. This guy this guy at the church today should be heralded as a hero. He saved so many lives. And the unfortunate part is he very well could get prosecuted. If it wasn't Texas, where the gun laws are pretty simple, to put it nicely, you can pretty much own a gun. Similar to Georgia, very easy to own a firearm as long as you have a good background and don't carry felony or domestic violence charges. But say it was California, New York, Chicago, or Illinois, these states that have these restrictive gun laws, how many people would have died? It's an interesting question, and if you can think about it objectively, I'd love to hear your feedback. Are you a sheep or are you a sheepdog? Is this guy a hero, or is he an individual that was overzealous and thought he was a cop? I've heard it all. And it's unfortunate when that's the mindset, but I'd be really curious to hear your aspect of it. So I hope everybody had a good Christmas, good New Year coming up this week. Give me some feedback on this one. I think it's kind of a hot topic, especially because it happened, less than 12 hours ago. So let me know what you're thinking, and I look forward to hearing from y'all. Catch y'all soon.